One of the most interesting topics is your relationship with Vince McMahon because you were with him for years and years and years. There seemed to be, from a fan's perspective, a variety of times where they, whether it was in fun or not, they prodded you on air, whether it was telling you you're going to SmackDown and you don't know about it, or having you kiss Vince's ass in Oklahoma, whatever it is. But you always stayed, even through the TNA rumors that you might go there. You did the New Japan thing, but you were still with WWE. But you made the sort of hard cut. And what I mean by that is not that there's bad feelings, but like you're now in AEW. Why was it time to do that? And how talk us through your feelings at that point about making that move?
My new book, Under the Black Hat, has several characters because it picks up where Slobberknocker left off and takes us through some really compelling topics and times in my life. You know, the XFL, the 83 weeks getting our ass whipped by WCW, the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, coming out of the Attitude Era, all about Austin, the backstage stuff with him, and him retiring at WrestleMania 19, and one of the very, very few wrestlers that actually keep his word. I'm done, and he's done. So he said, "Well, Austin could come back." Conrad and I talking about this over Nando's. I said, "If I were Vince, I'd fly Austin to Saudi Arabia for $1 million to go out and wave, do a promo." Well, they'd love to see him. You guys can't tell me if they had an event at Wembley Stadium, you wouldn't want to see Stone Cold come out there and drink some beer, right? I mean, hell. So that's the thing he's got with Steve. I don't know. Steve's just a different cat. This book's got a lot of backstage stuff in it about him and our friendship, our relationship. And then my wife, God bless her, thank you. And a lot of men don't want to, especially in the wrestling business, where you find that most of us in the wrestling business are paranoid and egotistical as hell and afraid of our own shadow because our egos are so fragile that it's a cross between athletic insecurities and acting insecurities in sports and entertainment. It can be ridiculous. But she was a rock, man. She was my rock. She stood all the issues, my health, getting fired, getting humiliated on television with bad creative. And the good thing that came out of it, I had made great friends there. I was 26 years with Vince. Have no regrets whatsoever because he paid me a lot of money. And he gave me a lot of stock. And some of my stock was $8. You guys do the math. Not that many long ago, it was 100. So how would my dad would come out of his grave and whip my ass if he thought I was disrespecting the person that paid me that much. Because I came from single, mom and dad just had me and no money. So I was tough. So I'm blessed in this regard. But I didn't like all of his creative. I don't like all of our creative at AEW. I don't like all the creative at Ring of Honor. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's subjective. Well, I like the chicken breast at Nando's better than the thighs. Well, hell, you just a stupid son of a bitch because the thighs are more moist, more meaty. I like the meaty. So that's how silly it gets. It's like comparing Nando's chicken pieces.
Curious through the end, though, you after you lost Jan, very quickly WWE brings you back. You call one last match at WrestleMania. You have a contract, and you're sort of waiting through the end of that one. At the time, you were still doing stuff with New Japan, and I think you've told me sort of behind the scenes how that New Japan WWE thing got a little tangled, and then it was time for you to move on. When did you know it was time, and how did you communicate that to Vince?
Well, I wasn't being used. Again, and it's really ridiculous. It's a good problem to have. It's my agent says it's champagne problems. I don't know what he gets out of that, but champagne problems because I was getting paid a ton of money, and in 2018 I worked twice. Not bad. And now here's the deal. Sounds really good for you young guys because if you had a couple of good years and not doing nothing, sitting on your ass at home or hanging out with your buddies, that and when it runs out, at least you'll have time going forward to do something else, to go to plan B. I am in that proverbial back nine of life. I get it. I feel great. I'm having a blast. I love the business. I love talking to you guys. You can tell that to the meet and greet. But I think that I felt like I had no more time. I was alone, and I didn't like being alone. And I thought it's time for me to start shaving again and keep wearing my watch. I was really bored. And then my contract was coming up at the end of March, which is a big mistake. Big mistake. Because Vince told me, and I talked to Vince, you find out when guys get at a certain level, you text them first, you give them the information that you believe they need to have. If it merits a phone call or earns a phone call on either side of the aisle, then that's what you do. You talk. But McMahon is so hard to get isolated. And quite frankly, unless you know these by himself, I don't like some of his audience. I want it to be personal and private because that's how our relationship has always been. And it's a whole different relationship than us one-on-one than you see on television, I promise you. So, but my contract ended before WrestleMania. They said, God, I wanted you to work WrestleMania. So, hell of a time to tell me. I'm out of here. My contract ended at midnight on March 31st. And the next morning, March 30th, wherever it is, the last day of March, the next morning, the AEW crew's in my house, taping me, and I signed my deal. And I signed my deal for more money than Vince had ever paid me. So I got nothing to complain about in that regard. We had philosophical differences. I think that he had some reservations, as did I. Buyer's remorse, you always do. But man, now that I'm there and having a blast, it worked out the best for everybody. So sometimes in our lives, when things seem to be, it might not be. And remember, you can always wash off.
What a line. So Conor, I want to come to you because you walk a tight line that not that many people walk, where good relationship with WWE, good relationship with AEW, don't know how you do it. I think you've got incriminating photos of somebody that we just don't know about. But so, because you did the StarCast events, and kind of as you go with StarCast and it's growing, AEW's becoming a thing, it's all of a sudden becoming very political about who can do what. Talk about that and how you're dealing with that as it goes and how you kind of navigate it.
Well, they pulled everybody, so there you go. I mean, there was the navigating. We were excited to get The Undertaker. I wanted to make the second StarCast bigger than the first. I wanted to do something that hadn't been done. So the two things I was sort of hanging my hat on were The Undertaker and the roast of Ric Flair. And I worked through Undertaker's agent, and it was just posted on his Instagram, hey, for bookings, email here. So we coordinated a deal and wired the money and signed the contracts and good to go. And it blew up. And then, of course, immediately everybody starts saying, oh, Undertaker's going to AEW. That apparently got the attention of the chairman. I think Undertaker got a new deal. I did not get my agent commission on that. And now he is a WWE lifer and he is no more. So, no, I think even though the higher-ups at WWE know that StarCast is separate from AEW, they would rather their talent not be there, and they give some exceptions, like his pal Jerry Lawler got to be there, and that was cool. But we don't have a StarCast on the books right now, so I don't know.
I feel you on the Undertaker thing, by the way. But
yeah,
that's another
I
story
hear
for
that
another
was
time.
going around at the time.
Anyway, that's another story.